There we go. All right. So guys, today's episode is going to be amazing because we have Lissette Sanchez. For those of you that don't know who Lissette is, she's one of the top producers here in Central Florida, or in the Orlando area, Kissimmee. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you were the top producer in Central Florida, but she's been doing amazing things, man. She's a hustler. She is a boss. She's got discipline. I mean, she's someone that you definitely can look up to and learn a lot from. And if you can spend one day with Lissette, I'm sure you'll walk away with a lot of motivation, number one. And the habits that she's got that's gotten her to where she is today. So I reached out to her a couple of weeks ago, and I was a little nervous, because she's with another company, but I believe that in this company there's enough business to go around, and there's no reason to have that kind of I guess competition or whatever. Anyway, so she was nice enough to say, hey, heck yeah, man, I'll jump in on Zoom with you and let's get it done. And so I'm really excited. I mean, we've had some really good guests here in Morning Rise, but every single guest just keeps getting better and better. And Lissette, man, you're amazing. I'm looking forward to this. I got a lot of questions, guys. So we're gonna save the last couple minutes for questions. But we're gonna try to get through these questions as quick as possible, just because we only have an hour. But I also told Lissette, you have the stage open, man. So if you want to, something that triggers you, something that you feel passionate about, don't feel like, hey, we got to rush through it. I really want you to really hone in on what's important to you, so that you guys can walk away with something. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I know Lissette, but man, I think I've known you now. You probably don't remember this, but I remember when I first got my license. I think you and I got our licenses pretty much around the same time.
Really, in 2013?
Well, it was like December of 2013, but I didn't really started doing real estate until like January, February.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so whatchamacallit? So I remember I used to go to a lot of networking events, and I will see you in the audience. So we will like pass by, but we'll never really say hi or anything because we didn't know who you were,
Right.
But then of course, the years went by and you started making a name for yourself, and I started seeing your name popping up on social media and here and there, and kept going to networking events, and I still saw you there, man. So I noticed you. I don't know if you noticed me, but I noticed you.
No, I mean, I think that
yeah.
I've seen, like you said, I've seen you before, but we never really
talked. Right, exactly. So I'm looking forward to this interview because I'm gonna get to know you more than I already do. I mean, I know who you are, but I don't know who Lissette is. Okay. So let's get started, man. So let's start with the basics. Okay, like who is Lissette? Where are you from, and where did you grow up?
So I am Mexican, born and raised in Chicago. All my family lives in Chicago. I have nobody here, no cousins, no sisters, no brothers, nobody. I do have two kids, a 29-year-old and a 19-year-old. My daughter just got married this year. I am a grandma. My grandbaby is a year old. And I've been doing this for, I think, 8 years, fully 8 years. And I love it. Every year it gets challenging and I keep growing and growing. But yeah, no, I mean, I really love what I do. And when I say I love it, I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about, I'm the type of person that I cannot sit in one room. So I love dressing up. I love jumping in my car. I love meeting new people. And I love helping people. Like, that feeling when you're at the closing table or when you get a listing. It's not the listing that I'm selling. It's I see their excitement and I get excited. Like it's my house, but it's not.
Right, absolutely. So you came from Mexico. At what age did you come here from Mexico?
No. I was born and raised in Chicago.
Oh, you were born and raised in Chicago. Gotcha. Okay, beautiful. So you were okay, born and raised in Chicago. Went to Chicago once, man. I literally went during the middle of COVID. It was -7 degrees. We ran to a restaurant because we were like, oh, let's go get something to eat. They didn't even let us in because we didn't have our vaccination cards. So we literally just booked a plane in New York and left. We were there for just a couple of hours because we couldn't do anything. But
it sounds like Chicago during that time.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's a beautiful city though. But
it is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So how long did you live in Chicago, and when did you come to Florida?
I think we left Chicago. I left Chicago when I was 32 years old. And then from Chicago, I moved to Guadalajara, Jalisco. And I lived there for about 6 to 8 years. And then when it was time for us to come back to the States, me and my husband, we were like, should we go back to the windy city or should we try the heat? And so obviously our mentality was we'll move to Florida and then everyone's gonna come and follow us. But it didn't work like that. Nobody came and followed us. So
Oh my goodness. I got you. I got you.
I got stuck here, but I'm not gonna lie. I love home. I love the food. I love my culture. I love where I grew up in a really, really rough neighborhood. For those of you that know Chicago, I grew up in a place called Little Village. So Little Village is a tough city too, as a child, as a kid, it's rough. It's
Like the north side or the south side?
South side. Mexicans
south
are on
side,
the
right?
south side.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican people are on the north side. So
I got
that's
you.
like an inside joke. If you're Puerto Rican, 100% you were born and raised on the north side of Chicago.
Wow. So you grew up in a really rough neighborhood. And so you think that was part of what shaped you up, being relentless?
I think the little when I get a little cold or when I get with the mentality of bring it, that's like the Chicago side.
That city girl, absolutely, man. You have that fire. You have that fire. All right, so
Yeah.
you went to Guadalajara. That's interesting. So you went back to Mexico. What brought you to Mexico?
So my husband's family is from there, and I don't know how many of you guys, probably nobody here knows or has heard of Guadalajara, Jalisco. Guadalajara, Jalisco is like living in Beverly Hills, like top-notch art. Like everyone's driving a Rover, everyone's driving a G-Wagon. I used to live in a gated community. Let's just say that I was living in a place like Windermere. Like that's where and then I opened a boutique down there because I was bored and I opened a boutique and then I was catering to like there's a lot of powerful women that they don't travel, right? They're married to powerful men, but they don't travel because either they don't speak the language or they just don't leave their husbands. So I became like their friends. They became my clients, and I would travel and do a lot of business with them, like a lot of personal shopping. But I had my own business.
Gotcha. So anyways, okay, so you had your shop in Guadalajara. So you had a little bit of an entrepreneurial side of you already. To open up your own shop. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you came to Florida, and because you didn't want to go back to the cold, which
No. I was like, we're not shoveling snow no more. We're not shoveling snow. No.
So
warming up our cars for 45 minutes before we will go anywhere.
Oh yeah. I grew up in Jersey, man. I know exactly how that is. Some people will put their mattress or colchon outside in the sidewalk because I shoveled this parking lot. No one's there's parking space. No one can take it from me. So I know how that is. So you came to Florida. Did you go into real estate directly immediately, or what did you do?
So when I came to Florida, I didn't have a plan. But my friends in Mexico were like, oh, you should go get your license down there. Maybe we can buy properties from you. So my mentality was super small. Like my brain didn't think this big. I was thinking, go to Florida, get this so-called license so I can help them buy homes. And I'm only going to cater to them. Like they'll refer me people and they'll buy investment properties down here. So actually it was one of my closest friends. She was the one that gave me the idea. She's like, oh, you should get your license and we should buy real estate from you and yada, yada. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. Came here in August, got my license in October. Didn't know east side of Orlando. I didn't know what Dr. Phillips was. Didn't know Stanford or Coy. Didn't know the counties. Didn't know not one thing. But I got my license. And then I really didn't practice the first year because I used to travel back to back. I used to go back to Mexico. I used to go back to Chicago. And I wasn't focused. After the whole year, I was like, okay, I got my license. I have to get to work. Like I have to focus on this.
So it sounded to me like you kind of tripped over real estate, right? You came into real estate kind of like by default, right? I mean, your friends were saying, hey, get your real estate license. We'll buy some properties from you. Yeah. But it wasn't something you said, okay, I'm gonna go get my real estate license to start a whole new career. No. Right. So it's kind of like what happens to a lot of us. I think during COVID, a lot of people got the real estate license just because they lost their jobs. They needed to reinvent themselves. And they're like, well, let me go do some real estate, But the difference is that you stuck around for a long time now. You've been around for a while. And not only have you been around, but you've built a successful career doing it. Other people that join in by mistake or by default, they kind of just fall back out of it just because they didn't have the right intentions to begin with,
Right.
Are you superstitious? Would you say?
No.
No, just no superstition in you.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you think luck has anything to do with it? Have you or has it played a role in your success?
No luck.
No luck at all.
hard work, no luck.
No, that's. See, I asked that question because I believe that as well. Like my mom, for example, she says that I'm the luckiest person. She's always says that about me. And I know she means well. Like she doesn't mean, but I hate that word because it dismisses all the hard work you put in, like they see the success, the final outcome, but they don't know all the struggles that went behind that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I want to get to with you, Lissette, today, so you got your license. And you didn't start with EXP. I think you were with Keller Williams, right?
No, I started with Exit.
Oh, with Exit. Okay. I got
I
you.
started with Exit, and then it's never gonna be the broker, guys, just so you guys know. It's never the broker, it's always you. When I was there, I was so new, and I didn't know pre-approvals, I didn't know how to open a lockbox, I didn't know what you needed to show a house. And here I am showing homes, meeting people for the first time at the properties, not knowing if, not asking them for their pre-approval. I did a lot of things that I was not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it was kind of one of those things that at the office they would say, as they come, just fake it till you make it. I hate that. But I was doing that. I was showing homes, no pre-approval, putting people under contract. And then I did experience the bad lending part where none of the lenders were really giving me good pre-approvals, or I don't know what they were doing, but all my deals were like,
we've all been there.
They were not getting to the closing table whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, Juan, it was actually my first deal. Like, I don't know if you guys know that. Like, when I got my license, Juan, it was like he broke my cherry, so to speak. And he can tell you, I didn't even know how to open the lockbox. And back in the day, we used to have this little gadget that looked like a beeper. Yeah. And I didn't even know how to use that thing. And we were both trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, he didn't even have his license. He was like 19, hardly had any facial hair. And here we are trying to open up this lockbox together. So yeah, man. So we definitely have similarities there. So how would you describe your first year in real estate? I mean, how was it for you?
Not the first year, because I would say I didn't practice the first year. When I got my license, it was probably like, I got it in October. So October, November, December, let's not count those days. But my first year, I think it was challenging, and it was a wake-up call. It was one of those things that I'm not a half-ass person. I don't do nothing half-ass, ever. And I felt like, okay, I don't know what a pre-approval is. I don't know how to show homes. I don't know how to open a lockbox. I'm running to Ocoee, I'm running to Sanford, I'm running to Polk County, Orange County, like bouncing. And I was not okay with that. But it felt weird, but I kept telling myself it's gonna get better. Yeah. I didn't know that you can, I didn't think or know that maybe a possibility of partnering up with someone, like, hey, can I be your assistant for a whole year? Like that was not even like, it didn't cross my mind, and I wish it would have, but it's okay. I survived.
Yeah. I mean, if you can go back 10 years or whatever, the 8 years that we've been doing this, and tell that rookie Lissette, like, what would you tell her? Like, what would be the first
Definitely become an assistant to someone. Like, find someone that you admire, find someone that you want to be just like, and ask them, hey, can I shadow you? How much, how can we work something out so I can shadow you for a whole year? Let me work with you. So I could have learned faster, maybe the right way. That's what I would tell myself if I could go back.
Yeah. How did it feel when you got that first commission check?
A good feeling, but it was more like, oh my God, I had to do so much work just to get this check.
Yeah. How long did it take you that first commission check?
Oh, long. Like, I don't know the exact time, but maybe it took me 6-7 months after I came in and did full real estate.
So you mentioned that you needed to you felt the need that you wanted to be someone's assistant. Did you end up becoming someone's assistant? And no, you didn't do that. Okay, gotcha. Did you have any mentors?
Cesar Estrada, I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah.
He was the one that opened the doors for me for the lead gen. Milton actually brought me into Keller Williams. So he's big. To this day, Milton is a beast at what he does, right? He's amazing at cold calling. So he was the one that, he would tell me, you should cold call and yada, yada. And he would like allow me to go by his office and watch him hear the phone calls. But I wasn't ready at that time. and his personality is very strong because he's like a closer. So I was intimidated, like, oh my God, I can't make calls like him. It's impossible. He's so like, he
Yeah.
doesn't take no for an answer.
Oh my goodness. High pressure.
But then I never entertained that. And then it was up until I came to Keller Williams and I joined the Lake Zona office. And then I met Caesar, and Caesar was more like, hey, you want to go to listing appointments for me? And I was like, of course. And so then he let me jump on his dialer and I started making phone calls. And I would hear him and his little team, how they will make, you know, the roll calls, like the scripts that they were working on. And then that's how I started the passion for lead generating.
So you guys had scripts. Do you guys do any role playing?
We used to do role playing back then.
Yeah.
I now, obviously I'm a beast now. Now I'm like, oh, get out of my way because I'm coming. But yeah, I do, especially with people that don't know how to make calls.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So, okay. So a year, your first year was, I guess we can agree was challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. What year so far, what year did you start to see like, you know, like this plane going like this to now really start taking off? Like, was it the second year, the third year?
I think it was the second year.
The second year. Okay.
The second year.
How many homes did you sell the first year?
Oh, maybe
Remember?
three. Maybe three.
Gotcha.
Maybe three.
Gotcha. So I mean that's enough for a lot of agents to just say, you know, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. So what kept you sticking around though? I mean, I know you said you don't give up, but there's got to be a little bit deeper than that, right? I mean, what kept you sticking around?
I think what kept me going is that I don't take what I do as a job. I take it as a everyday lifestyle, right? So every day you learn something new. Every day you meet new people. So for me, I'm not the type to look like at a clock and be like, okay, or at a calendar and be like, okay, I've been doing this for 90 days. I don't, I should maybe, but I don't. So I just kept going and going. And with the timing and the experience, I kept growing and growing. So that I felt more comfortable. So now I'm in my comfort zone. Like I'm growing and growing. That's what I want. Because everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to help someone. It's just a good feeling.
Absolutely. But so what's the driving? Like, what's the fire that lights up?
I'm a very ambitious woman, very ambitious. And sometimes I think that it's bad.
Okay. How so?
Because you can't, you know, you know that story when people say, you know, you ask for a raise and you get the raise and you're like, now what? You ask for that Rover and then you get the Rover and you're like, I wanted this. Now you want more.
Right.
So to me, it's kind of scary. Yeah, to me, it's kind of scary because once I achieve something, it's like, now what? So I want more and more and more. And I feel like it's never going to stop, but it's just in me.
Now, I mean, you tell me if this is a personal question, but how has that affect your, you know, your family and business balance?
Well, I will tell you, I don't have no small children, right? But when I think about moms, anyone that has a child that you have to pick up from school, that you need to feed, that you need to check their homework.
Right.
I don't think I will be who I am right now if I had a child. There's no way. A kid, obviously your attention will go to your child first and then to your business.
Yeah.
And so right now, I can do whatever I want. I can go to a listing appointment in the morning, in the afternoon. I don't have no commitment. I don't have to pick up. I just feel like when you have a child, it's probably challenging.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, that was more like a personal question for me, just because, I mean, you know, my wife and we have two little girls, and it's been challenging, you know, because she's also a hustler, you know, she's also helping us run the other business that we have, which is Sweet Homes, a short-term rental. So she's always busy, you know, so it's like, you know, like sometimes we'll get into arguments, like, man, who's going to pick up the girls sit? And I'm like, well, I'm working. And she's like, well, me too. You know, so it's like, you know, like, who's going to go out and get the girls, you know? So that we really had to kind of like put our egos to the side and really try to work together, you know? But what about with your husband? Like, how find balance to spend time together?
And I said this in my listing boot camp. When your wife attended, I think we talked about it. I don't know if she went back and told you. I think that
You might have, I don't know.
It gets very we tend to always show, and obviously in this industry, you always see success stories, a closing, coming soon,
right?
A new construction, you know, it's always win-win wins, right? But deep down inside, I can tell you that for me, my experience, it's been challenging the years that I've achieved the most, because I'm never home. I don't have date nights.
Oh my
We don't spend
God.
no time together. He's black, I'm white. He's yes, I'm no. He's on this side and I'm on this side. So there's
Okay.
like, it gets scary. It gets scary to the point where, you know, we sat down in the past where we're like, yo, this is not working out. Like, you're over there and I'm over here. And
Right.
then we, you know, obviously I have a big ego, or I try to act hard, and I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? You but you know, it's not cool and it's not fair. But
I
the
got you.
more I guess it's all about balancing. If you balance things, it'll work out. But when you lose track of what you're balancing and you just focus or dive into work, it can affect your personal life. 100% sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we all have our struggles, you know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, it's what's important to you. We all have different ways of seeing things. And at the end of the day, it's what's important to you and just committing to that, you know? Switching gears here a little bit, like, do you have any mentors right now? And if so, who's your mentor?
So I I don't have a coach.
You don't
My
have a
mentor
coach.
to the people that I run to whenever I need advice will be Peter Lu. I don't know how many of you guys know Peter Lu,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Peter Lu and I have been friends for like 6 years, and I have a very close relationship with him. Before, not no more, because obviously as you grow, you see it in yourself as well. Before, I will call him for marketing, I will call him for clients, I would call him for just about everything, and we would, you know, spend our nights like talking, you know, we'd be on the phone till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But he was my to-go-to person, or if I had
Yeah.
a problem, I'll call him at 6 a.m. and he'll pick up, and you know, but I used to talk to him and run to him a whole lot back then. Now it's minimized. Now I probably see him and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, were you both at EXP or Keller Williams, or were he
We
at
were
another
both together
company?
at Keller Williams,
Oh, you
and
were
then
both
he
together at Keller
left
Williams.
to Sotheby's to sell luxury homes, and now we're here at
I
EXP
gotcha.
together.
I gotcha. So even though he went to Sotheby's, you said at KW for a while, you still stayed in contact together. And
Yes, we still hung out, we still had lunch. Me and Peter are very, very, very,
that's
very
good.
close.
That's good. I love that. I know you're at EXP right now. I mean, I did a little bit of homework. So far this year, you're at was it at 30 units? Correct me if I'm wrong. 30 units, 11 in volume.
So
Just
11
about?
in volume. Yeah, I'm a volume girl, so I can tell you my volume, but I can't tell you my units.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because that's what matters, right? I mean, I can sell 2 houses, but if they've been mailing, that's good. You know.
Yes, 11 million.
Gotcha. So let's get a little bit more deeper into like the meat and potatoes. Like, what does a typical day for Lissette look like? What are your daily habits? What are your daily routines?
So typical day, I get up at 5, at the gym by 5:30, back by 6:30, 6:45, jump in the shower. I listen to my Audible for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then I look at my then I start posting on my social media, my LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I create a post. Then by then it's 8 o'clock. I jump on calls, on expires, for sale by owners, withdrawals, whatever. So if it's 20 people I have to call at 8 a.m., I call them. If the list is 2, I call them at 8, because obviously speed kills. Once I'm done with those calls, then I wait for 9. But from 8:30 till 9, I'm checking my emails, replying back to anything that's urgent. From 9 to 10:30, now I'm really following up on follow-up calls. Then at, let's say, 10:30 to 11:30, if I'm not dressed, because I'm working from home, I get dressed and then I come to the office. Once I'm here, I finish follow-up calls for about 2-3 hours. Then I jump back on my emails, clean my emails, return emails, phone calls, and then right about that time, if I have to door knock any hot listing that I want from my morning calls, I door knock it. If not, I'm either at a listing appointment or I continue to lead generate.
Wow. Okay. So I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and literally every activity except for the gym in the morning, but I mean that's good. But every activity that you've mentioned has been income generating, like everything that you've been doing so far, right? Everything that you've done, or perhaps just a drive from your house to the office. That's not a, but did you guys notice that? You guys pick up on that? It's all income generating activity, so wow, that's freaking awesome. And like, out of those activities you just said right now, which ones are your non-negotiables? Like, it's like, hey man, I don't give a shit. I don't give a crap if the world's falling apart. We have a hurricane coming through. This is non-negotiable for me.
Lead generating.
Okay.
Cold calling. Yeah, that's
Okay.
not negotiable.
Well, it's not sexy either, right? Cold call is not sexy. How do you deal with that? And it's boring, right? I mean, a lot of people will say it's boring, man. It's boring. It's not sexy.
It's
right?
It's people have come to try to join my team, or they ask me, can I shadow you or whatever, and they always tell me it's boring, it's hard, and they don't like it. No one likes it.
Right.
No one that I know likes it.
I mean, but let's be honest, right? I mean, do you like it?
So I do, but it's all a mindset. To me, when I lead generate, you see this? I have this in front of me all the time. And so for me, it's, I jump on a dialer, I'm making calls, I'm either putting on my makeup, or when they answer, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, hi, how's it going? Are you ready? This is Lissette Sanchez. Just curious to know if you, like, I don't, like, I distract myself, right? And it's not, to me, it's not boring. I'll find something while I'm lead generating. I'll be focusing maybe on social media, like I'm doing two things at once, but obviously it's not cool when you do that, because if you're someone new and you lose the time, if you don't focus on who you're calling and they ask you something and they get you off guard, now you have a problem because you only have 1 second with them. You can't be like, oh wait. So I always have my real list and my MLS open. So when I'm dialing, it's more like, and I always do it with like this joy that if you were to hear me, you'll be like, oh, what kind of drugs is she on? Because she sounds too happy. But that's me.
Yeah.
So if you come in, I strongly believe that if you're making phone calls and you're like, oh, this is boring. Oh, I gotta do it for an hour, because you're trying to please someone to prove to them that you can call for an hour, you're not gonna get nowhere. You have to bring the energy, and people can sense the energy. Sometimes my phone calls are, and this is the way I see it. None of us here on this Zoom call know what's going on right behind. Like, once you hang up, you don't know if you are having a terrible day, if you're having an amazing day, if you broke up with your boyfriend, or if you're planning a wedding, right? None of us know that, right? So the way I see it is, when you want to be of service, you have to be able to provide that. And even if it's over the phone, when you make that call and they answer, you don't know if they're having a bad day, but you can be the person to make them laugh or bring a smile to their face. You don't know if somebody just recently died and now they need to sell, but they're so confused. And here you are calling them and they're like, wow, like, who sent this person to call me? Because I'm really thinking about selling in 2 to 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, it's a mindset. It's
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we say that a lot here at More Homes. It's like, you got to come from a place of service. And like you said, it's a mindset thing. And that's what I tell myself when I do the phone calls. I mean, because I'll be honest with you. I mean, sometimes I just, I'm like, man, I don't want to do the phone calls. But it's like, man, when you say that, you're coming from a place of, I think, ego, number one, because you don't want to get your feelings hurt, right? But it also coming from a selfish point, because if you're really going to say, hey man, Edison, you want to build relationships, you're here to help people out, but then you don't want to make the phone calls, then you're going against what you always preach. So when I talk to myself like that, I'm like, okay, stop being a little bitch. That's why I wear this damn bracelet. Stop being a little bitch and let's get to do the phone calls, because you are here to make things better for people. And like like sometimes we say, not all heroes wear capes. I like to think of myself like a superhero sometimes, like, hey, I'm calling here to help as many people as I can. I'm your superhero today. So and when you say it's mindset, that's what I do. I don't have a mirror in front of me, but I talk to myself and I get myself pumped up to make these phone calls. You know what I mean? Because I like the fact that you said that your non-negotiable would be lead generation.
Yeah.
And that's with any business, right? I mean, you could have a bakery, you could have a restaurant. It doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have customers, you don't have anything.
That's right.
If you're not lead generating every single day, you have nothing, So what's the point? So I always say our goal every single day is to either close business or generate new business. Period. End of story. That's it. You're either closing business or you're generating new business. And even if you are closing business, don't make some time to generate some new business. Don't let the whole day go by without doing it. And the cool thing that I always say too is, or the mind hack that I use is that all I got to do is just focus on getting one relationship today. If I can just get one and compound that day by day, by the end of the week, I'll have 7 new relationships that I didn't have before. And by the end of the month, I have 28, 30 new relationships, so you do the math, and it starts to really snowball from there. And it all started just by focusing on just one. So it allows me to take the backpack off my back. It's not so heavy anymore. It releases the pressure, and just allows me to have fun, man. So I think it's powerful that you said that lead generation. So if one thing you guys could walk away with today, it has to be that lead generation, man. But if we go back a little bit more, like when you first started doing cold calling, right? Because cold calling is nerve-wracking for a lot of people. I mean, let's be honest, right? It's not only just not sexy and boring, but it's just very nerve-wracking. It's like, man, I'm talking to a stranger. I don't want to be a pain in the ass, so to speak, right? I don't want to bother people. So I'm going to assume that you perhaps went through the same thing, right? Because that's what makes you human. You go through these butterflies in your stomach, like, man, right? But what did you do to prepare you? Like, what scripts did you use, and how did you prepare yourself? Because I say confidence comes from preparation, right? So if you're not prepared, you're not going to have confidence, right? So how did you prepare, and how do you still prepare today?
So I guess it was repetition. So I would say repetition, doing it over and over and over and over and over, you get better, right? Practice makes perfect. So for me, I can sit here and tell you that the more I kept getting on the calls and being rejected over and over, then it kind of becomes, again, it's mindset, right? Then it becomes like a game. Like, I'm gonna see how many people, like I can tell you that when I jump on the phone, before, you can hear it in my voice. Hi, I'm looking for Edison. Is this Edison? Yes, this is Edison. Hi, Edison. Hi, what do you want? Edison, I would be nervous, right? Like now, you won't at me ever. Like now it's like, hey, Edison, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? How can I help you? Edison, my name is Lissette Sanchez, with more confidence,
Right.
100% more confidence, but I didn't get there overnight. I got rejected after rejection after rejection after rejection. But with practice, you get better. Like letting go of that fear, because the biggest fear here is for people to hang up. But when you think about it, these people don't know you and they might be in need. If you can get to them and show them that, you can do the job, they're going to hire you. But having a conversation with a total stranger is super hard. But I will tell you, I've closed several homes from people that I never meet, that are out of state. Never have I met them. And it all starts with just one phone call, one cold call. I can sit here and name you a long list of people. You got to be confident. You and practice. Keep going. Stay consistent. Practice. Practice.
Absolutely, 100%. But one thing that I can add to that too, Liz, is that like, for example, like I've been studying a lot of, like, not a lot, but I mean, I've been doing some research on the science of communication, like the linguistic art, like how do you communicate with someone and get the answer you're looking for by how you say it, right? So like reverse psychology and things like that. But knowing what to say when I get on the phone, knowing how to come back when someone tells me no, or like all these objections, knowing how I'm going to deal with that. Like it's like a soldier going into war, knowing that he's got all the weapons necessary to put him in the best possible position to survive, So when I show up to war and I know that I got my artillery set up already here, so whatever you throw at me, I can use this, I can use that. It allows me to enjoy the phone calls now. You know what I'm saying? It removes the jitters because I'm prepared, so it allows me to now enjoy it, right? So that I can really service the clients, So I think also to add into what you were saying is the preparation, to knowing what to do and how to say it. also allow you to get over the cold reluctance, and the creative avoidance. We find little things to do. Well, let me fix my desk, or let me do this, let me do that, so that I avoid doing the phone calls. Um, do you track your numbers at all, or no?
I don't, but I think that I'm different. I have people that they asked to join my team, and I notice that I don't know where they're coming from, but they'll say, oh, I called 13 people, or 37 people picked up, or I made 100 and whatever calls. I don't track that. To me, it's more like from 8 to 10:30, lead gen. From 12 to 3, lead gen. From 5 to 7, lead gen. And obviously, I see it in my Monday calls when I talk to the people that I work with. I have 3 listing appointments. I got 2 pre-approvals. I got 3 coming to the market soon. I see it in those numbers, but I don't keep track of how many people. Maybe I should, but I don't.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's very interesting, right? Because I mean, I guess there's many ways to skin a cat, but like for me, like I need to know how many phone calls do I got to do, and out of those, how many phone calls, how many contacts I'm gonna be making, and then out of those contacts, how many appointments should I be expecting, so that I can know my ratios. But for you, it's like, I don't give a crap about that, man. I'm just doing it from 8 to 10. I'm just gonna go get through all of these, what I mean? You're just like bombarding, like whatever, so, but it works. I mean, obviously it works for you, man, and I think that the idea here is maintaining the focus, whether you track your numbers or not. If you're focused on what you're doing and you're maximizing your time, that's how you're going to get the results. You know what I mean? Obviously tracking the numbers will be a good idea, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the focus is us keeping you there, What source do you use? Are you using Vulcan 7, Redix, or
I'm using Vulcan? I use
Vulcan
Vulcan.
7? Yeah.
Mhm.
You have a dialer?
I have a dialer.
Like, is it a triple dialer or single?
No, it's a single dialer.
Yeah. Okay.
Dialer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the triple dialer either, because I mean, then like, let's say 2 of them pick up and then it goes to like a voicemail, but I'm just like, really, man, they picked up and now I got to call them back. And what if they don't pick up the second time?
Yeah, no, single dialer.
Yeah. And then you use Follow Up Boss, right? CRM?
Yes, Follow Up Boss.
You like it?
I love it. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. What are some of the tools or tips and tricks that you can maybe share that you use on Follow Up Boss that really works for you?
So for Follow Up Boss, I did pay somebody to go in there and do these drip campaigns for me.
Okay.
I think I paid like $800.
800?
800. So then they clean my Follow Up Boss. They separated like the past, like current active clients, past clients, cold leads, future leads, people that are leasing that might convert into buyers, adding the drip campaigns. But again, I pay for that service, right? It's a one-time fee. And this is for if you have like over 1,000 something people, which I do. One thing that I do love about Follow Up Boss is that if I'm driving to a listing and the listing is 30 minutes, I can still grab my app and make my phone calls. Like, I don't waste no time. I'm going to a listing appointment. I'm doing lead gen as I'm getting there.
Wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, because I mean, I'm in the car. I mean, if anything, I'm listening to a podcast or watching. I mean, I'm definitely not making phone calls. That's insane, man. It's those little things, man, that just separates you from everybody else. Have you always been like this, Liz? I mean, have you always been this disciplined?
I'm very disciplined with everything.
Have you always been like this since you were a kid? I mean, let's go back.
I want to say yes.
Were you a troublemaker when you were a kid, or you were one of those kids like, like I made my bed, I brushed my teeth, like, yeah.
And I'm big on routines. Like, I'm super big on routines. Like, I go to the gym. I already know what I'm gonna do. I know where I'm gonna be at 11. I'm a planner. I plan a lot. I plan ahead of time. You will never see me say I'm going tomorrow on vacation. No. Someone invites me somewhere and I'm like, oh, I gotta look at my calendar because I gotta make sure that I got time for that.
Yeah. And one thing that I can share right now, you probably don't know that I knew this, but you're very strict with your routine. Nothing can get in the way, right? So one story that I can share, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but one time she was with us, and like I said, I've always, looked at you from far away, like, yo, Liz is killing it, And so this particular person, she was like, I told her, listen, man, like you want to get into listings, why don't you reach out to her? And maybe you can do like a role play or call nights with her or something like that, you know? Anyway, so she reached out to you and you were kind enough, like you always are. You were like, yeah, absolutely, man. You can call and you can make phone calls with me tomorrow, but call me at 7 a.m. But if it's 7:01, don't even bother. This is what she told me that you told her. If it's 7:01 a.m., don't even bother calling me. Call me at 7, you know? So it just goes to show how strict you are with your routines. Like if you want me to help you, absolutely. Come here, I'll help you, but don't get in my way, kind of thing, you know? So I think that's probably one of the biggest traits that you have that's made you so successful, is that you're very strict with those routines, man.
I am.
You know, like what would you tell the agents right now that are struggling with that, right? Because a lot of us will create a calendar. We're huge on calendars here, More Homes. We're huge on that, right? But some you know, some of us still struggle with that. Like, okay, well, I have my calendar, but I still don't follow it to the T. Things, and I get it, you know, inspections, there's appraisals, this and that, the kids, everybody's pulling you in different directions. And then you go home and you only accomplish like maybe even 50% of the things that were on your calendar.
So I would say it's all discipline, and you have to prioritize what's more important. You have to understand that there's certain things that you're not going to be able to handle. So example, a home inspection, right? Let's say that the home inspection is bad and there's like 10 items that need to be addressed. It's right now 10:45. That's already gonna drain you. I'm not gonna touch that home inspection till after my lead generating, till after I'm done returning all phone calls, because I'm gonna have to spend time with the seller to let them know, or to the buyers, whoever, if I'm negotiating it, or whoever side I'm on. And that's gonna take time and energy. So I wouldn't touch that. Knowing what to touch in the morning and what you're supposed to be touching, or what's supposed to be important in the mornings, is lead generating, sending your clients listings if they're gonna go house hunting. So you wanna get that out of the way. Listing appointment packages, or getting ready to door knock, getting those things ready. So when you head out the door, you already know, on my way home, I'm gonna I'm gonna door knock these 2 homes. And then I'm gonna call my client
Wow.
to talk about the home
Yeah.
inspection.
So it's like learning how to find the pockets in your day. Like sometimes we think, okay, well, I'm gonna leave the office, I'm driving home. Well, I'm driving home, I don't have time to do anything else. But you're like, no, yes, you do.
You
On the
know?
way home, you're gonna pass by these homes already. So stop. So you found the pockets in your
Mhm.
calendar. That's freaking huge, man. See,
Yeah.
because I mean, I haven't even thought about that. I'll be honest with you. Like, you know, when I leave the office, I'm going home. I'm not thinking about, well, I'm gonna make a pit stop here or make a detour here, you know. So it's like really learning how to manipulate time in your favor.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Let's talk about motivation. I think a lot of us, we always wait for motivation to be the reason. Well, today I don't feel like doing it, so I'm not gonna do it. Or, you know, like, how do you handle motivation? Do you believe in motivation, or
I'm
what's
huge
your...
on motivation, and that to me is like energy. You know, when people say energy, it's all about the energy. So what do you bring to the table? I'm a very bubbly person, and I'm super friendly, and I think that if I can help anyone, if they ask me, I'm like, okay, let's go. How do you need help, right? But it's all in the energy. Motivation is something that has to come from within. You can't expect your team leader, you can't expect your husband or your wife to motivate you. You have to come in and you have to say, you know what, I have goals and I want to achieve them. It's how bad do you want them? So do you want to close 2-3 transactions a month, or do you want to close 3-4 transactions a year? Whatever makes you happy, right? That's number one. But motivation has to come from within. How badly do you want it? And is it gonna help you? And I'll give you an example. If I don't go to the gym and it's been like 30 days, I start feeling some type of way, like, oh, you know, I haven't been to the gym. I like it's like bothering me. If my pants don't fit, then I say, okay, I can't complain because I didn't go to the gym for 30 days. I'm gaining weight. Now my pants don't fit. It's my fault. So I kind of motivate myself all the time. I don't leave that to no one. It's no one's job but my job to motivate myself to get up in the mornings. And yes, it gets boring, it gets tiring to do the same thing over and over again. But you have to know your why. You have to motivate yourself. And to me, it's also something like self-esteem. Self-esteem comes and puts a big role play. Your confidence, how confident are you? Because confidence, self-esteem, it's all into that same category of motivation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. For me, motivation is because let's be honest, man, like we don't always feel like doing this. You know what I mean? We're human, you know. I think being clear on what your purpose is every single day and why you do this, just being clear on it, you know, and let your discipline carry you through when motivation is not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like for you, it's the gym. I mean, you're huge on the gym, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna get to the gym, and I'm sure there's days when you don't feel like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, you had a long day the day before, you were prospecting. Hi. So anyway, so the discipline is what carries you through through the lack of motivation. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit because it's 10:49 and I hate it because I had so many questions.
Ask.
And because I want to open it up for you at least for the last 5 minutes, but what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where's Lissette going?
So what's up? What's my next step? I guess my next step is to do partner up with people that want to be in my circle, maybe a buyer's agent, maybe a listing agent. That's something that I can see myself doing in a couple of months.
Okay.
In 5 years, actually, I want to retire at age 52. I'm 46. At age 52, I don't want to work no more. I want to just, be a grandma. So that's my goal. That's my goal.
I don't see you retiring, I'll be honest with you. I don't think so, man.
I don't want to work past 52. I don't. So I want to leave my business, my book of business to somebody else, let them run it, let them do whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
And let me see what else. Obviously I want to grow in the sense of, I want to have more me time, like travel more, kind of like not step back completely from real estate, but not feel like overwhelmed where I have to touch everything so things can get done. Right now, that's what I do. Like I'm on top of everything, and it's challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see yourself getting your broker's license?
I don't want to be a broker. No.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't blame you. We got 2 questions here. So Valentine, you asked, so you lead gen all day if you do not have an appointment?
So I lead gen, right? And then when I'm lead generating and someone says, yes, I am interested, right away I try to book it. Oh, are you available today at 3 or 6? But I'm looking at my phone to see how far is their home. If their home is an hour from where I live, then obviously I time it and I tell them, I can be there today at 2. Does that work? Or at 6 o'clock? If they say no, I'm like, okay, how about tomorrow? But I push for that listing appointment.
Gotcha. But I think his question was, if you don't have any appointments for that day, are you lead generating all day long?
Yes.
I know you mentioned that in our last meeting that I attended, your training actually, which was great, by the way. You said you'll lead gen in the morning and then in the afternoon from like 5 to 7 or something like that. You said you will lead gen again?
5 to 7. Yes.
Next question is, what kind of lead gen did you focus? This is Rose. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Rafaela. What kind of lead gen did you focus on year 2 to make your business take off? And when did you start focusing on listings? Very good question. I had that on my notes here.
So I started focusing on my listings from the very beginning. Like and this is how much of an experience I was. I didn't know that there was like a such thing as buyer's agent and listing agent. But to me, it fit more the selling homes from like day one. And not because it's easier or anything like that. No, it's just that it's something that I prefer. Like I went with my marketing, and if you pay attention to my marketing, every time you read a caption or a post, it's more to cater to sellers. But that was from the beginning. And I don't know how I got myself there, but obviously I focus and I've grown, and that's where my heart is, on the listing.
Yeah. When I pull up your numbers. I'm sorry. The other question was, and when did you start focusing on listings? I think you touched on that.
Focusing on listings from like the beginning. After a year. What kind of lead did you focus on year 2?
Yeah, meaning like, hi, Lissette, how are you?
Hi.
I feel like I know you because I follow you on social media. So this is great to be able to ask you questions. But So I'm a mom of a 10-year-old, so thank you for even saying how hard it is, and it's so challenging, right? Like balancing it all, mom, wife, or whatever. Um, and last year, this is I think I'm going into my second year, but last year I tried like online leads, and I just feel like I was hitting the pavement, and it's, having to pick up my daughter, like all of that, very challenging. So I think, did you start focusing like organic leads from the beginning of your, when did you see it take off, and what kind of leads? Was it like online leads, organic
So,
lead?
organic leads, door knocking. If you don't have no business, door knock. Partner up with your lenders and ask them to do door hangers, and professionally door knock. Put those door hangers there. And I'm not saying door knock every house because you're never gonna be done. Pick the homes that have small yards so you can go from one house to another. Go with somebody else because it's dangerous for you to go, especially because we're women. Why door knocking? Because there's someone cutting the grass, coming in, works from home, walking the dog. You want to make friends with them. So that's how it starts. Hi, how are you? They look at you and, they'll say hi, and then you can say, oh, do you live in the community? And then you start a conversation. Those are organic leads. And I used to, when I first started, all my business was organic, but I worked a lot and it was hard, super hard.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Liz, Jessica's asking, do you have someone who helps with your marketing? Good question.
So I do my marketing, and I have to let go of my marketing because marketing it's also, it plays a huge role on us as real estate consultants. You have to be marketing yourself. I know a lot of people that I'm always asking them, do you post on Facebook? And they're like, I'm not really a Facebook person. Neither am I. But the people that are selling homes, guess what? They're in their 50s, 60s, 70s. They're going to go on Facebook. They're going to see your ad. They're going to call you. Don't miss out on that opportunity. Post, make yourself available, make yourself known, let everybody know. But I do my own marketing, and I'm consistent. I post every single day, and I even hit like Nextdoor, and it's how you approach people. On Nextdoor, you gotta pay, right, for a service. So whenever I'm looking for a buyer and they want to buy in us, like let's say somebody wants to buy a house in Village Walk. I live in Village Walk. I'll create a video, and I'll say, hey guys, I'm a real estate consultant. If you're thinking about selling your house, I have a client that is looking for a 2-bedroom, 1-story. If you're considering selling, I would love the opportunity to show your home. I'm not really like soliciting that I'm a listing agent. I'm more asking if they want to sell their house because I have a buyer. So my posts don't get deleted because people like start hitting comments like, oh, they just this property, and like it's how you approach it. But marketing is, I do it myself. I do, and it's a lot of work. But I do time block 2 to 4 hours twice a week. That's how important it is.
I know you have, I mean, because I've seen the behind the scenes that you've posted. So you have like a whole crew. Is that like, where did you meet them, or did you hire them, or?
Cool.
I don't know. You posted on TikTok or Instagram one day. I think you were doing like a behind the scenes, and you had like this.
Oh, those are videos that I do for like branding. Like, I talk about, those are videos that I do.
I gotcha. But where did you get that crew from? Did you hire them? They're like a
third party, part of that's part of our hub at EXP. So they, you just block the time and you let them know, hey, I'm going to be doing some marketing. And then
beautiful.
They, if the space is available, you go there, you show up, you do whatever you want between the hours that you selected.
Beautiful. And guys, by the way, you're here, but we have Cami in the office, and that's what she's there for. Reach out to her. I mean, we have the whole studio. You guys can, do things like this. You know what I mean? So that's freaking, and you time block it. You said 2 to 4 hours a week just to do content.
Well, sometimes I do 2 hours, and then there's other days that I spend 4 hours because putting captions together, putting pictures together, it's a whole job.
Like, oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole job.
Yeah, it's the whole reason why I sometimes avoid it, because it's like, oh my God, this is like so tedious. Like you got what hashtags you use. And I'm like, I'm not getting carpal tunnel because I'm trying to type so many things. Just, if I could just hire someone to do that,
Rose asked something. Who's Rose?
Rose. Yeah, she's here. Rose Berrigan. I hear that you have to, okay, hold on. I hear that you have to, at some point, delegate your work.
So absolutely. So I have a transaction coordinator. I don't handle no paperwork. I'm here to execute people, like put them on
Execute.
a contract, get a listing appointment. I don't do no paperwork. I don't fill out an addendum. I don't know what sky slope is or how you put an offer in the system for compliance. I don't do any of that. I have a TC that does all my paperwork. I have a virtual assistant who helps me. So if right now I get a text and someone's like, hey, I'm looking in the Ocoee, please email me some properties. I'll forward that to her and I'll tell her, hey, listen, this is the client's email, put them on follow-up, I'll send them some listings, and it's done. If I'm driving, that's the beauty. I'm driving and someone calls me and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Can you run some comparables? I'll call her and I'll say, hey, run some comparables, send them to me so I can review them. I review them. If everything looks good, I send it to them. So I'm quick. Like within 10 to 15 minutes, they have that already in their inbox, but I'm driving to an appointment. So I waste no time. So you do need an assistant, and don't wait for this assistant. Don't say, oh, I don't, right now I don't have no closings. I'm just gonna hold on. Because what happens is when you get real busy and you want to hire someone, you're gonna be overwhelmed with the rush, and then you're gonna be overwhelmed that you have to train someone.
So you have an assistant and a transaction coordinator, or do they play the both
No.
roles?
A transaction coordinator is locally here. My virtual assistant, she's not here.
What is she? What kind of tasks does she handle?
So she clears my my MLS, like people that want for us to send them listings. I don't know what's it called.
MLS drip.
Yeah, like she sends that to them daily. She checks and sees how many people go on eWatch. If she sees one person going in more than once, then I call them. She reminds me on follow-up boss who I need to call. So if it's something that she can email, hey, what can we help you with? Do you have any questions regarding this property? Awesome. But if not, she'll jump in and she'll tell me, hey, you have to call this person now. And she, like if I'm sponsoring something, she'll be the one to handle that. What's the fee? What do I need?
Okay.
She's the one that's running my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, I haven't even seen it because I'm very overwhelmed. I'm almost like a perfectionist. I'm like, oh my God, my hair was like not like this, but it was like that. And I'm letting go. Because if I wait here for perfection, it's never gonna happen. So I'm like, let me close my eyes, look the other way, do whatever you gotta do with this YouTube. I'm already overwhelmed handling TikTok, Instagram, personal page, Facebook, personal page, LinkedIn. It's too much. It's too much.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's 11:01. I don't know how you are in time, Liz. Are you okay with time so far? Or?
I am.
Okay. Do you pay your assistant hourly or by transaction? Very good question.
So
Good question.
my assistant gets paid hourly, and she's a virtual assistant. She gets paid hourly. My transaction coordinator is per file. So she's pricey. I think for her, it's like in the range of $360 to $660. It all depends on the price point.
Is she in-house or you also hired her out?
No, her name is Jennifer Bacon, and she works with everyone. She's not only my TC.
I got you. Okay, beautiful. Oh my goodness, I had a question that just slipped out of my mind. Any other questions, guys? Nothing.
Ask now.
What company do you use for your VA assistant?
Ah, that's what I was gonna ask. Thank you.
Spear Rocket.
Spear Rocket?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't go on Fiverr, you don't find like a VA on Fiverr, or have you heard of Fiverr?
No, I've heard of Fiverr, but no.
You haven't gone in there? Okay. That's very good. Liz, I'm gonna open it up to you because I know you have some nuggets you want to throw at us to kind of walk away with.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna tee it off like this. What do you want everyone here today to walk away with?
So if I can give anyone any advice to take for the new year, it would be stay consistent. Don't give up. You're never gonna see results overnight, and don't be so hard on yourself. And be fair also. Don't say, oh, lead generating is not for me when you've only done it twice in your life. Don't do that. Try it for 90 days. If on the 90th day it doesn't work out, then say, you know what, maybe lead generate is not for me, but give it your all and come with a good spirit. Like think positive. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna bother them. You're saying that because you know that if someone calls you, they're bothering you. So that's why you say that. But don't come with a positive attitude. Discipline. Stay. If it's on your books, if you're putting it on your calendar, accomplish it. accomplish it. If you know you can do 3 things in one day, do those 3 things. Don't put 10 things there. Be realistic. Spread it out so you won't feel like, damn, I'm not even doing my job. I said 10 things, and from the 10 things, I've only accomplished 2. Don't do that to yourself.
Right.
Stay disciplined and self-confidence. I think that nobody ever talks about that, but it's confidence. Confidence, confidence, confidence. When you have confidence, you can walk in a room and you can own it. If you don't have that confidence, you want to stay in the back of the room. You don't even want people to know that you walked in because you're like, oh, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
No. So
Yeah.
confidence, self-confidence, discipline, and consistency.
As far as confidence, like where does confidence come from, right? Because it's easy to say, well, you need to have confidence, but like for you, for example, you go to the gym, that helps you with your confidence, right? I mean, you feel good, you look good, you feel good, but for the people that don't go to the gym, would you say, okay, well, let's start hitting the gym, or what else can you be doing to work on your confidence, right?
So I think our health comes first. And it's rare the person that it's very rare when I meet someone that says, so you know what, my health comes first, because we all say our kids come first, or my job comes first, or my goals come first. No, your health. You can't give it your all. If you're sick and you don't go to the doctor, you're not gonna want to get up. You're not gonna want to make phone calls. If let's say you're a little bit overweight, then when you get that listing appointment, you're not going to say this out loud, right? But you might struggle and you might be like, man, nothing fits me. Well, how am I going to go dress? And you get nervous and you feel uncomfortable at that listing appointment. So confidence does play a big role. It plays a big, big role.
Shanir has one last question.
And well, I was also going to add to that part. I feel a way to build up your confidence too is the small wins. Giving yourself those tasks, like you said, accomplishing and seeing yourself accomplish those goals and checking off the task and then feeling better afterwards. And then, okay, I made a phone call, I had an interaction, maybe not an appointment, but had an interaction, and going out there slowly builds up your confidence. But just shying away from actually doing the task, then that's when you're not helping yourself either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to us yesterday, right? I mean, I was making phone calls. No one was answering the phones for me. Like literally every phone call that I was making was going to voicemail. And meanwhile, you're like bragging, like, well, I already talked to 2 people. But then like literally like Hail Mary, like I was about to close my laptop and I got into a good conversation right before I hung on my laptop, and I was able to check that off as a win, So I
Exactly.
might not have talked to a whole bunch of people, but I got to talk to one guy.
But you did one.
Exactly that. And I was able to switch him from like, well, no, I'm not sure if I want to buy, to like, oh crap, maybe there is a possibility that I can buy. Absolutely. Send me some listings. So good point, Shania. It's just checking up those little wins, man. It just builds your confidence. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like for example, Rose, like I don't want, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but like you said, you struggle with making small talk. I mean, like Liz, like what would you tell Rose? She struggles with that because she really wants to get better at it. She's making the effort of getting on the phone. But as we know, we also got to be good at the phones, building rapport. And the rapport comes from making the small talk and here and there.
So role play. If you're not good at it, role play. Find an accountability partner that is going to role play with you. Find someone and do it early in the morning. Do it 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Do it early in the morning. Role play. If you're not confident, if you're like, oh, role play. Role play helps a lot because then you can, you might hear someone else approaches different. Then you might say, oh, you know what? I like the way he said that, or I like the way she said that. Role play helps a lot.
Yeah.
And then I see, what would be your advice for moms? Oh my God, I kid you not. Now that I have obviously a grandbaby, my daughter doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom. But the other day I had like an anxiety attack. I'm like, oh my God, if I had to take care, my granddaughter doesn't live here. They don't live here. But I was thinking, if I had to take care of this baby, I wouldn't door knock. I probably wouldn't even be lead generating because the baby's going to be crying. The baby's going to need attention. And you can't turn your back on them because they're like running around. And it freaked me out. And I said, oh my God, how do moms do it that work in this business? Like, can you show a house and leave the baby with, like, who you're gonna leave the baby? Like, I was freaking out. I was like, oh, Oh,
Yeah.
but what would be your advice for moms, how to maintain or find some kind of balance? So I would say, you do need support. Someone has to support you. If you have a small child, either your mom, your husband, your boyfriend, someone has to support you in the sense of support what you're doing for, support your business. If you have a listing appointment, can they stay with the baby? If you want to go door knocking, can someone come to your house and take care of the baby? And obviously a child, when they're small, as they get older, you can't buy that time, right? They're not going to be one forever. They're not going to be 5 forever. So you don't want to miss out on those moments. But I would say time block it. You know what? Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon, I'm going to make phone calls because I have someone that's going to take care of my baby in the next room. Because you don't want to make calls when your baby's crying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Anyone has any questions? Anything else? I know we're in overtime right now, but anything else?
What do you see the market in the next 6 to 12 months? So I'll tell you one thing. You can't listen to the noise. The noise is going to paralyze half the people. It's noise. Business stops when you stop. When you stop making calls, and that's when your business stops.
Absolutely.
Mindset. Remember this, someone is always getting divorced, getting married, relocating, downsizing, upgrading, or they just got that raise. Interest rates can be high as they can be. It's okay. If someone's getting divorced, do you think that they're going to say, oh, we're going to sell the house when interest rates go down? No. If someone just got an amazing promotion, are they going to sell their house and buy? Yeah, it's time for them to leave. If someone died in the family and it's just a lady that's 80 years old, do you think her kids are going to let her stay in her house by herself? No. There's always a need for someone to buy or sell. Focus on that and you will grow. If you listen to the noise or you're like, oh, market, and don't go on repeating stuff. Like you hear someone saying, oh, market's going to crash. In your world, your market's going to crash. Okay, that's you. Like that's you. I'm hustling. I'm making phone calls. I want to talk to those people that are ready to sell, ready to buy, are relocating. That's what I'm focusing on. And trust me, I have a lot of friends that when they speak, I'm like, oh, you know what? I got to go. I got a phone call. Because I'm not trying to hear that. Not as a real estate consultant. No.
I love it. I freaking love it. And I think that's so great that you say that because like, if you think about it, all the transactions that we've all had, has it because, oh, we want to buy a house because the interest rates are low, or you know what I mean? When you really, really think about it, it's always a motivation behind it, right? And let's put some context into that. If we go back to 2008, I was looking at some numbers the other day. In 2008, during the worst crashes this history has ever seen in the market, during the pandemic, during the crash, there was 9 million closings in 2008. 9 million transactions, and I forgot what the number was in commissions that got paid out in 2008. So that tells you right there that it doesn't matter what kind of market we're in, this transaction is going to be happening no matter what. And there's opportunities everywhere, so blocking out that noise, as you say, blocking out the noise and just staying focused, myopic, like you just do what you got to do and just lead gen every single day. Mm-hmm. Liz, thank you so much. What book, or do you read any books, by the way?
I'm big on Audible, so I read a lot of Audibles, a whole bunch of books.
What's an Audible that you will recommend?
One that I love, I'll tell you right now, Can't Hurt Me. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That's an amazing book. And I think I love it because it's so disciplined. Like the way he talks, it's so disciplined. Like I'm like,
military. Well, he's military, so yeah, he's got it in him.
And I'm not, I'm not saying nothing bad, but like military and stuff like that, it's not in my blood or anything. But now I'm thinking maybe in my past life I was some type of sergeant or something.
Yeah, probably. Guys, any other questions? Anything? Comments? Anything?
Yeah. Any questions? Speak now.
Okay. One more. All right. So you call expireds and FSBOs, you door knock. Any other lead gen like farming mailers or anything else that you do
So what I do is on my block, right? I have 30 homes. And I've been living in Village Walk since 2008. When I moved there, I have postcards made, like simple postcards, right? And on those inside there, it said, hey, I just moved to the neighborhood. I'm not only your neighbor, but I'm also your real estate consultant. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. For every holiday, such as Thanksgiving and Christmas, I handwrite them a note and I send it to them. So they know that I'm their neighbor and they know that I sell real estate. Has it worked for me? I've sold 4 homes on my block. Yes. And I've been there since 2018. So do that. Let at least your block know that you're a real estate consultant, because they're gonna give you business. You can't be like, waving, or if your neighbors are not that friendly, they're not gonna approach you. If you're not approachable, they're never gonna approach you. So you have to say, hey, listen, I'm a real estate consultant, and let them know that you're there if they need something.
Don't be a secret agent.
Right.
When is your next class? Renato's asking.
I don't know, but stay tuned. It should be coming soon. Next year, though. Next year.
Absolutely. Rose, you raise your hand.
Yeah, so I did have a question, because I noticed, because I know Edison talks about a lot, like being careful with the words you say, like the psychological message behind it, because some words can trigger people. But I noticed you say real estate consultant instead of like real estate agent or realtor. Like, is that like realtor or like real estate agent? Is that like another word that makes people run the other way?
So no, so real estate consultant, it just sounds nicer, right? So instead of you saying, I cut the price on this listing, or we went down on price, that just doesn't sound right, right? You have to like make it sound nicer, like, oh, we just did a price modification. It's the same thing as cutting the price, but the way you say, we just did a price modification, we just did a price adjustment, I'm a local real estate consultant. It sounds nicer. It's just a preference. It's just the way, you're gonna deliver that. Now people might say, oh, she's a real estate consultant. Now you got their attention, because real estate, everyone's an agent.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an agent. I'm an agent. I'm an agent.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question, Rose. Anything else, guys?
What is your follow-up system like for sellers? So for sellers, if I'm on a call, right, and let's say I call today and they say, I'm not interested, but call me next year. I put them on follow-up boss. I put a date there, and then I put my notes. Man was super nice. He's not selling right now. His daughter just graduated this year. And then I put a note, and then I put him on a drip campaign as a seller. Then exactly on such day that I said I was gonna call, I'll call and I'll say, hey, John, remember me? I called you about 3 months ago, or just wanted to know how's everything going, blah, blah, blah. And I pick up from there, but I make notes. You have to call when you say you're gonna call.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys. For those of you that don't know who Liz is or didn't know her before this, where can people find you, Liz? What's your social media?
Everywhere.
Anywhere, pretty much.
On Instagram, it's Lissette Sanchez Real Estate, I think. Let me see. I have my personal and my business.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. I see that you
Lissette
have-
Sanchez Real Estate. And then obviously on Facebook too, Lissette Sanchez. Same picture.
You have
so.
TikTok now too, though, which are you
Yes, it took me forever, but
and
it's
your
there.
YouTube channel.
Gives me anxiety, but.
All right, guys. Well,
Okay, guys.
Liz, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to be joining your Zoom at 7 a.m. So I went to one of her classes a couple weeks ago, and Veronica Figueroa decided that she had this crazy idea of creating this contest between buyers and the buyers agents and the listing agents. And I decided to join the listing agent crew.
Mhm.
With Lissette. So you got to win this contest, man. I'm looking forward to it.
That's right. Watch out now.
Yeah, let's
Well,
do it,
Merry
man.
Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Liz, thank you so much, man. You're very kind. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, thank you.
Bye.